There's something happening right now that your logical mind keeps trying to dismiss, but your heart already knows the truth. Someone who has been carrying feelings for you, feelings that started the very first moment they laid eyes on you, is finally moving past their fear. They're finally stepping out of the safety of silence and into the vulnerability of showing you what's been in their heart all along. If you're watching this video, it's not by accident. You've probably been sensing something shifting. Maybe you've noticed changes in how they look at you, how they find reasons to be near you, how their energy feels different when you're in the same space. Maybe you've caught yourself wondering if you're imagining things, if you're reading too much into small gestures, if you're being foolish for hoping. But I'm here to tell you, you're not imagining anything. What you're sensing is real. What's unfolding between you is the beginning of something they've wanted since the moment they first saw you. This isn't about someone who's casually interested. This isn't about someone who's testing the waters or playing games. This is about someone who experienced something profound the first time they encountered you, something that stopped them in their tracks, something that shifted their entire internal landscape. They fell in love with you before they even knew your middle name. They fell in love with your energy, your essence, the way you moved through the world. And that love has been growing in secret, deepening in silence, until now. Until this moment when they're finally ready to let you see it. I know some of you are skeptical. You're thinking, if they felt this way, why didn't they say something sooner? That's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. We're going to dive into what's been happening beneath the surface, why they stayed quiet, what's been changing inside them, and why right now, in this season, they're finally gathering the courage to show you what's been in their heart since day one. Stay with me through this entire journey, because what I'm going to share with you will not only help you understand what's happening, but it will also prepare you for how to receive what's coming. This is a pivotal moment in your love story, and you deserve to enter it with clarity, confidence, and an open heart. Before we go deeper, if you've been blessed by the content on this channel, if these videos have brought you comfort, clarity, or confirmation during your journey, I want to invite you to consider leaving a super thanks. Your support allows me to dedicate the time and energy needed to create these deep dives into the spiritual and emotional dynamics of love and relationships. It's never required, but always appreciated from the bottom of my heart. Now, let's talk about what's really unfolding here, because this goes so much deeper than you might realize. Let's start by understanding what happened when they first saw you. I'm talking about that initial encounter, whether it was across a crowded room, at work, through a friend, or even online. There was a moment when their eyes landed on you, and something inside them shifted. It wasn't just attraction, though attraction was certainly part of it. It was recognition. It was as if their soul said, "There you are. I've been looking for you." In that first moment, they noticed things about you that you probably don't even realize are noticeable. The way you tilted your head when you laughed. The particular quality of your smile, not the polite one you give strangers, but the real one that reached your eyes. The way you gestured with your hands when you were explaining something you cared about. The energy you carried, whether it was calm confidence, playful lightness, quiet depth, or passionate intensity. They took it all in, and it did something to them. What they felt wasn't a choice. You can't choose to fall in love with someone's essence in an instant. It just happens. It's like their heart made a decision their mind hadn't caught up to yet. And from that moment forward, you occupied space in their thoughts in a way no one else did. They started noticing everything. When you entered a space, their awareness immediately shifted to you. They could feel when you were nearby even when they couldn't see you. They memorized the sound of your laugh, the way you said certain words, the expressions that crossed your face. They found themselves thinking about you at random moments throughout their day, wondering what you were doing, hoping you were happy, replaying conversations they'd had with you. But here's what's important to understand, even though these feelings were immediate and intense, they didn't feel safe expressing them. There's a particular kind of fear that comes with falling in love at first sight. It feels too much, too soon, too overwhelming. They worried that if they revealed the depth of what they felt, you'd think they were unstable, or desperate, or building you up into someone you're not. So they made a decision, perhaps not even consciously, to hide what they felt. They interacted with you as if you were just another person in their life. They kept their tone casual, their body language neutral, their words friendly but not revealing. They created a performance of normalcy while their heart was doing backflips every time you looked at them. And this is where it gets complex, because hiding that kind of love is exhausting. It takes constant energy to feel so much while showing so little. Every conversation with you required them to monitor themselves. Don't stare too long, don't compliment too much, don't let the longing show in your voice. They had to pretend that being near you didn't light up every cell in their body. Some of you watching this have been confused by their behavior. You've sensed something beneath the surface but couldn't quite name it. Maybe they've been hot and cold, present and engaged one day, distant and distracted the next. Maybe they've gone out of their way to help you with things, but then acted like it was no big deal. Maybe they've asked you questions about your life that showed they were really paying attention, but then changed the subject quickly when things got too personal. This push-pull isn't game playing. It's internal conflict. Every time they get close to you, their real feelings surge up, and they have to physically and emotionally retreat to maintain the illusion that you're just a friend, just a coworker, just someone they know casually. They're trying to protect themselves from the vulnerability of rejection. They're trying to protect you from the pressure of their intensity. They're trying to navigate feelings they never expected to have. But something has shifted. That's why you're watching this video right now. That's why you've been sensing changes in their energy lately. The season of hiding is coming to an end. The internal work they've been doing, whether consciously or unconsciously, has brought them to a point where staying silent feels worse than the risk of speaking. The fear of losing the chance to be with you has finally outweighed the fear of being rejected by you. Let me be clear about what I mean when I say they're ready to show it. This doesn't necessarily mean they're going to walk up to you tomorrow and make a grand confession of love. For some of you, that will happen. But for others, what's coming is more subtle. They're going to start letting their guard down. They're going to stop hiding the way they look at you. They're going to create more opportunities to be in your presence. They're going to start revealing pieces of their inner world that they've kept private. They're going to test the waters of whether you might feel something for them too. This is a delicate transition, and it's important that you understand what's happening so you can navigate it with wisdom. If you like this person, if you've been hoping they see you as more than a friend, then you need to create space for them to move closer. If you don't share their feelings, you need to be prepared to handle what's coming with kindness and clarity. Drop a heart emoji if you've been sensing this shift in someone's energy lately. We're going to explore exactly what's been happening inside them during this time of silence, because understanding their journey will help you understand why this moment matters so much. Don't click away, the next section is going to illuminate things you've been wondering about for weeks or even months. Let's go beneath the surface and explore what's actually been happening in their inner world since that first moment they saw you. Because this isn't just a story about someone having a crush. This is about someone who has been on a profound internal journey that you haven't been able to see. When they first realized they had feelings for you, their initial instinct was probably to dismiss them. They told themselves they didn't really know you well enough to feel this strongly. They reminded themselves that they couldn't possibly be in love with someone they just met or barely knew. They tried to logic their way out of what their heart was experiencing. But the feelings didn't go away. If anything, they grew stronger. As time passed and they continued to interact with you, everything they learned about you confirmed what they felt in that first moment. Your sense of humor matched theirs in unexpected ways. Your values aligned with theirs in areas that mattered deeply. Your perspective on life intrigued them. Your vulnerabilities made you more beautiful to them, not less. Every layer they discovered made them fall deeper. But falling deeper while pretending not to care created a unique kind of pain. They had to celebrate your wins from a distance, as if they were just another acquaintance happy for you, when really they wanted to be the person you called first with good news. They had to watch you interact with other potential romantic interests and act unbothered, when internally they were wrestling with jealousy and fear that they'd waited too long. They had to show up as, just a friend, when their heart was saying, I want to be your person. During this time, they were also dealing with their own fears and insecurities. Maybe they worried they weren't good enough for you. Maybe they'd been hurt before and were afraid to make themselves vulnerable again. Maybe they had practical concerns, timing wasn't right, circumstances were complicated, they weren't sure they could offer you what you deserved. These fears created a wall between what they felt and what they were willing to show. But here's what's been shifting: life has a way of confronting us with the cost of our silence. Something happened, or several somethings, that made them realize they couldn't keep living in this limbo. Maybe they had a close call where they almost lost access to your life entirely. Maybe they saw you getting closer to someone else and felt the reality of losing you. Maybe they simply reached a breaking point where the pain of hiding became greater than the fear of revealing. For many of them, there was also a moment of clarity where they realized you might actually feel something for them too. They started noticing signs they'd been too afraid to interpret before. The way you light up when you see them. The way you remember small details they've mentioned. The way you find excuses to touch their arm or stand close to them. The way your energy shifts when they're around. These signs gave them hope. Hope is powerful. It can dissolve fear in ways nothing else can. They've also been doing work on themselves, whether intentionally or naturally through the passage of time. They've been becoming someone more ready for the kind of love they want with you. Maybe they've been healing from past wounds. Maybe they've been building their confidence. Maybe they've been getting their life into a place where they feel more capable of showing up for a relationship. Maybe they've simply been maturing emotionally, learning what real love requires. And there's been a spiritual element to this journey too. For those who are attuned to such things, there's been a sense of divine timing at play. A feeling that the season of waiting is ending. A knowing that the universe has been preparing both of you for what's about to unfold. Signs and synchronicities have been increasing, seeing repeated numbers, hearing songs that speak to this situation, having dreams that feel prophetic. The spiritual realm has been confirming that it's time. Now, in this present moment, they're in a phase of gathering courage. They're mentally rehearsing what they might say to you. They're looking for the right opportunity, the right setting, the right words. They're praying or meditating or simply hoping that when they finally show you how they feel, you'll receive it with an open heart. They're imagining how your face will look when they're finally honest with you. They're both terrified and excited. What you need to understand is that when they do start showing you how they feel, whether through words or actions, it's not a casual thing for them. It's one of the most vulnerable things they'll ever do. They're not just risking rejection, they're risking the loss of whatever connection you currently have. They're risking the comfortable dynamic you've shared. They're betting everything on the possibility that what they feel might be mutual. Some of you are wondering about timing. Why now, you're asking. What changed? The truth is, readiness isn't usually about one single moment or realization. It's about 1,000 small shifts that accumulate until the internal balance tips. It's about reaching a point where the future they want with you becomes more real and important than the comfort of the status quo. If something has supported this ministry, that's why you're watching this video right now. Your generosity makes it possible for me to create changes in their energy lately. That takes this much time. The season of hiding is coming to an end. If this message is touching your soul and you feel moved to contribute, whether consciously or unconsciously, the question I want you to sit with right now is feels worse than the risk of speaking. How do you feel about what's coming? The fear of losing the chance to be with you has finally outweighed feelings you may not have fully acknowledged or examined. Let me be clear about what I mean when I say they're falling in love with you and working up courage. This doesn't necessarily mean they're going to walk up to you tomorrow. You've developed your own confession of love, your own hopes, your own fears. For some of you, that will happen. If you're excited about what's unfolding, what's coming is more subtle. In the comments, they're going to start letting their guard down. You've been waiting for this, hiding the way they look at you, praying for this. They're going to create more opportunities to be in your presence that you didn't know how to express. They're going to start revealing pieces of their inner world if you were reading too much into their kindness. They're going to test the waters of whether you might feel something for them too. The confirmation that they feel what you feel is like coming home to yourself. And it's important that you understand what's happening so you can navigate it with wisdom. Maybe you're not sure you're ready for the intensity of what they feel. If you've been hoping they see you as more than a friend about them, but then you need to create space for them to move closer. Maybe you're worried about what happens if you try and it doesn't work to handle what's coming with kindness. Maybe you have your own wounds and walls that make it hard to receive love, been sensing even this shift in someone's energy lately. These fears are valid. We're going to explore exactly what's been happening inside them during this time as you navigate what's ahead. Because understanding their journey will help you understand why this moment matters so much. Cautious, interested, don't click away. The next section is going to illuminate things you've been wondering about for weeks or even months. You don't have to have all your feelings figured out before what's actually been happening in their inner world. You're allowed to be in moment they saw you. You're allowed because to need this isn't just a story about someone having a crush. What matters is that this is about someone who has been on a profound internal journey that you haven't been able to see. You're not sleepwalking through this significant moment in your relational feelings for you. Their initial instinct was probably to dismiss them. How you receive what they're about to show you. They told themselves they didn't really know you well enough to feel this strongly. The entire trajectory of this connection. They reminded themselves that they couldn't possibly be in love because what I'm about to share next is going to help you understand not just what they're experiencing, their way out of what this means about who they are and what kind of love they're capable of offering. But the feelings didn't go away. This next part is crucial. They grew stronger. Here's what I need you to understand about someone who falls in love with you at first sight. Everything they learned about you can sometimes they felt in that first moment. Years before showing your sense of humor matched theirs in unexpected ways. And the love they're offering you is different with theirs in areas that matter deep in their lifetime. Your perspective on life falls in love with your essence before they know your abilities made you more beautiful to them, not less. Before they know your credentials, every layer they discovered made them fall deeper. But they're not attracted to what you can do for them or how you make them look or what you represent. They had to celebrate your wins from a distance, as if they were just another acquaintance happy for you, when really they wanted to be the person you called first with the light that shines through your eyes. They had to watch you interact with other potential romantic interests and act on you staying exactly as you are. They were wrestling with jealousy and fear to evaporate when you have a bad day, gain weight, they had to show up as something, just a friend, when their heart was saying, I want to be because they didn't fall for your performance. During this time, they fell for your truth. They were also dealing with their own fears and doesn't become less true just because it gets messy. Maybe they worried they weren't good enough for you. The fact that they waited before showing you their feelings tells you something important about their character too. Maybe they had practical concerns. Timing wasn't reckless with their circumstances were complicated. They understand that love isn't just a feeling; it's a choice. These fears created a wall between what they show up and what they were willing to show. The waiting period wasn't wasted time. Life has a way of confronting us with the cost of our becoming more certain, more ready, something more capable of offering you something real. That made them realize think about what it takes to feel something deeply and keep it private. Maybe they had a close call to interact with someone you love and pretend your life entirely. To be patient when everything in you wants to rush to someone else and felt the reality of losing. To respect boundaries and timing and the natural unfolding of connection even when your heart is screaming to greater than the fear of revealing. That takes strength. For many of them, there was also a moment of clarity where they realized you might actually feel self-control that many people simply don't have. They started noticing signs this person has been loving you in secret before, which means they've been loving you without light up when you see without recognition, the way you remember small details they've mentioned. They've been showing up for you, the way you find excuses to touch their arm or expected something in return, but because the way your energy felt like the most natural thing in the world to them. These signs gave them hope. They've been celebrating your joy, witnessing your pain, holding space for your growth, fear in ways all while nothing else their deeper feelings tucked away. They've also been doing work on themselves, whether intentionally or naturally, foundation that lasting love is built on. They've been becoming someone more ready to show you what they feel. They want with you're not getting someone who just decided they like healing from past wounds. You're getting someone who has already been building their life with you in their heart. Maybe they've been getting their life into a place where they feel more capable of showing up for a relationship. Someone who has already made space for you in the most sacred parts of their inner world, learning what real love requires. You're not starting from scratch. You're building on a foundation element to this journey too. But I want to talk about something to such things. There's been a sense of divine timing at play. There's a reason you came into their line of vision. The season of waiting is ending. There's a reason their soul recognized something in you that their conscious mind what's about to unfold. There's a reason signs they've been carrying this love have been in silence and waiting, seeing repeated numbers. It's because this connection matters. Speak to this situation. It has having dreams that feel prophetic. It has meaning beyond just two realm being attracted to each other. That it's time. Some connections are meant to teach us things. They're in a phase of gathering courage. Some are meant to heal us. They're mentally rehearsing what they might say to grow. And they're looking for the right opportunity, are meant to show us what it feels like to be loved for exactly who we are. They're praying or meditating or simply hoping that when they finally show you how they feel, you'll receive it with an open heart. To have someone look at us and feel certain, they're imagining how your face will look when they're finally honest with you. If you're someone who has spent years feeling invisible or misunderstood, what you need to understand is that when they do start showing you how they see you, whether through words or actions, sees you, it's not a casual thing, not who you're trying to be. It's one of the most vulnerable things they'll ever do. They're not just risking rejection, they're risking the loss of whatever evolving human being that you are. They're risking the comfortable dynamic you've shared. They're falling more in love with what they see every single day. The possibility that what they feel might be mutual. There's power in being loved like this. Some of you are wondering about timing. It can heal wounds you didn't know you had. Why now? You're asking. It can give you permission to be yourself in ways you never have been before. The truth is, readiness can show you that you're not as alone as you thought you were. Realization. It can restore your faith. It's about 1,000 small shifts that accumulate until the possibility that life can surprise you with something beautiful. It's about reaching a point where the future they want with you becomes more real. This kind of love requires something from you too. It requires you to be brave enough to let them in. It requires you to drop your own walls, even though walls feel safe. It requires you to take the risk of believing that maybe, just maybe, this could be the real thing you've been waiting for. If you're ready to be brave, drop a word that describes what you're feeling right now. I know some of you have been hurt before. I know some of you have learned to protect yourselves by keeping everyone at arm's length. I know some of you have convinced yourselves that you're better off alone because at least then you can't be disappointed. But this person who has been in love with you since the first moment they saw you, they're not the one who hurt you before. They're not carrying the same baggage, the same patterns, the same fears. They're offering you something new. You get to choose what to do with that offering. You get to take your time deciding if you want to open your heart to them. You get to ask questions, set boundaries, move at your own pace. But you don't get to receive this kind of love while simultaneously protecting yourself from it. You can't keep one foot out the door and expect to experience the fullness of what's possible between you. What I'm sensing for many of you is that this connection is a turning point. Not just in your love life, but in your life. It's going to challenge you to show up differently. To be more honest. To be more present. To be more willing to risk feeling deeply because the alternative, safety but loneliness, no longer serves who you're becoming. This person falling in love with you at first sight and now being ready to show it isn't random. It's part of your story. It's part of your healing. It's part of your becoming. And if you let it, it can be the beginning of something that transforms everything you thought you knew about love, partnership, and what's possible when two people choose each other despite the fear. The truth is, we don't get many moments in life where someone looks at us and feels certain. Where someone's heart makes a decision before their mind can talk them out of it. Where someone is willing to be vulnerable even though vulnerability might lead to pain. When those moments come, they're sacred. They deserve our attention, our respect, our willingness to at least consider the possibility. I'm not saying this person is perfect. I'm not saying the relationship will be easy. I'm not saying you're guaranteed a fairy tale ending. What I'm saying is that you're being given something precious, someone's authentic heart, offered without pretense or game playing. What you do with that gift is up to you. But before you decide anything, you need to understand what's shifting in the spiritual realm around this connection, because there are forces at work here that go beyond just human emotion. Stay close, this is going to illuminate everything. This is where we talk about what's being cleared, what's being aligned, and what's being prepared for what comes next. So now that you understand what's happening, that someone fell in love with you at first sight and is finally ready to show you, the question becomes, what do you do with this information? How do you navigate what's unfolding? How do you prepare your heart for what's coming? Let me give you some practical wisdom that will help you move through this season with grace and clarity. First, pay attention to how they're showing you, not just what they're showing you. When someone who has been hiding their feelings finally starts to reveal them, the manner in which they do it tells you everything about who they are. Are they respectful of your space and pace? Are they patient with your need to process? Are they listening to you as much as they're expressing themselves? Are they considering your feelings alongside their own? Someone who truly loves you won't steamroll you with the intensity of their emotions. They won't pressure you to reciprocate before you're ready. They won't make their vulnerability your responsibility. They'll create space for you to have your own experience, your own timeline, your own truth. Watch how they handle your responses. If you need time, do they give it graciously? If you have questions, do they answer honestly? If you're scared, do they offer reassurance without making promises they can't keep? The way someone loves you when they're revealing themselves is often the way they'll love you throughout the relationship. Second, get honest with yourself about what you actually feel. This isn't the time for people-pleasing or trying to figure out the right response. This is the time for brutal honesty with yourself. Do you have feelings for this person? Or do you just like the idea of being loved by them? Are you attracted to who they actually are, or just to the validation of being chosen? Sit with yourself quietly. Journal. Pray. Meditate. Talk to a trusted friend who knows you well. Explore what's true for you beneath the excitement or fear of the moment. Because if you don't get clear on your own feelings, you risk leading both of you down a path that isn't authentic. It's okay if you don't feel the same intensity they feel. It's okay if you need time to catch up emotionally. It's okay if you're interested but uncertain. What's not okay is pretending to feel something you don't, or ignoring what you do feel because it complicates things. Type honesty if you're committing to being truthful with yourself about your feelings. Third, communicate clearly and kindly, whatever your truth is. If you share their feelings, if you've been hoping they'd finally say something, tell them. Don't play it cool. Don't make them guess. Don't punish them for taking so long by withholding your own vulnerability. If you're excited about exploring this connection, say so. If you've been falling for them too, let them know. Give them the gift of your honest yes. If you're not sure, if you need time to figure out your feelings, tell them that too. I care about you, and I need some time to process what you've shared. Can we take this slowly while I get clear on what I'm feeling? That's a fair and respectful response. Anyone worth being with will honor that. And if you don't share their feelings, if you care about them but not in that way, you need to tell them gently but clearly. I'm honored that you feel this way, and I value you deeply, but I don't have romantic feelings for you. I'm sorry. Don't leave room for misinterpretation because you're trying to soften the blow. Clarity is the kindest thing you can offer someone who's been vulnerable with you. Fourth, honor the sacredness of the moment, regardless of the outcome. When someone tells you they love you, especially someone who has loved you quietly for a long time, it's a holy moment. Even if you can't reciprocate their feelings, you can honor their courage. You can thank them for their honesty. You can acknowledge that what they've shared matters, even if it doesn't change things between you the way they hoped. Don't minimize their feelings. Don't laugh nervously or make jokes to ease your discomfort. Don't immediately turn the conversation to something else. Sit with them in the vulnerability of the moment. Let them know their heart is safe with you, even if you can't give them what they want. And if you do share their feelings, honor the moment by being fully present. Put your phone away. Look them in the eyes. Let yourself feel the full weight of what's happening. This is a threshold you're crossing together. These are the moments you'll remember for the rest of your life. Don't rush through them. I know some of you have been willing to disrupt your comfort zone. I know some of you have learned to protect yourselves by keeping everyone at arm's length. It's going to require both of you to step outside the familiar patterns that you're better off alone because at least then you can't be disappointed. You're going to have to relearn how to be together in a new way. This person who has been in love with you since the first moment they saw you, you're going to have to go deeper. Hurt you before. If you've been independent and self-sufficient, the same baggage, you're going to have to let someone in, the same fears. Change is uncomfortable even when it's good. They're offering you something new. You're going to have moments where you want to retreat to what feels safe. You get to take your time deciding where the vulnerability of this new dynamic makes you want to build walls again. You get to ask questions, set boundaries. That's normal. Move at your own pace. The key is not letting those moments dictate your choices. This kind of love while simultaneously protecting yourself from it. Trust
you
the
can't keep
unfolding
one
and
foot
be
out the
patient
door
with the
and
process.
expect to experience the fullness of what's possible.
Remember that you
you.
don't have to have everything
What I'm
figured
sensing
out.
for many of you is that
You don't
this
need a
connection is
5-year
a plan
plan
before you say yes to exploring
Not just
this
in your love
connection.
life, but in your
You
life
don't need to
life.
know for certain that this
It's
is
going to
the
challenge
one
you to
before
show
you
up
allow
differently.
yourself to be open,
To be more honest.
You don't need to protect yourself
To be
from
more
every
present.
possible future hurt before
To be
you let
more
yourself
willing to
feel.
risk
feeling deeply because
Love
the
requires
alternative,
faith,
safety but loneliness,
not blind
no
faith,
longer serves
wise
who you're
faith.
becoming.
The
This
kind
person
that says,
falling in
I
love
don't
with
know
you at
exactly
first
how
sight
this
and
will
now being
unfold,
ready to
but
show
I'm
it
willing
isn't
to
random.
find out.
It's
I
part
don't
of your
have
story.
guarantees, but I have
It's
enough
part of
right
your
now
healing
to take the next step.
It's part of your becoming.
That's all you need.
And if you let it,
The next
it
step
can be the beginning of something that
not the whole
transforms
staircase
everything you
mapped
thought
out.
you knew about love.
Take it one
partnership,
conversation
and what's
at a
possible
time.
when two people choose
One
each other
date at a
despite
time.
the fear. One
The truth
revelation
is,
at a time.
we don't get many moments in
Let
life
the
where
relationship
someone looks
build
at us
naturally
and feels
rather
certain.
than trying to force it into a
Where
predetermined
someone's heart
shape.
makes a decision before their
Trust
mind
that
can
if this
talk
is
them
meant
out
to
of it.
become something lasting,
Where someone
it will
is willing
reveal
to be
itself in
vulnerable
time.
even though vulnerability might
7.
lead to pain.
Protect the sacred
When
privacy
those
of
moments
what's
come,
unfolding.
they're sacred.
When something
They
significant
deserve
is
our
happening
attention,
between
our
you and this
respect,
person,
our willingness
there's a
to at least
temptation to
consider
tell
the
everyone
possibility.
immediately. I'm not
To
saying
post
this
about it on
person is
social
perfect.
media. I'm
To
not saying the
analyze it with
relationship
all your
will
friends.
be easy.
To
I'm not
crowdsource
saying
your
you're
decisions
guaranteed a
about how
fairy
to
tale
proceed.
ending.
Resist
What I'm
that
saying
temptation,
is that you're being
at
given
least in the
something
beginning.
precious.
Someone's
What's
authentic
happening
heart
between you is
offered
tender
without
and
pretense
new.
or game playing. It needs space to
What you
develop
do with
without
that
the
gift is
pressure
up
of
to you.
outside opinions and
But
expectations.
before you decide anything,
you
it
need
needs
to
room
understand
to be
what's
messy
shifting
and
in the
uncertain
spiritual
without
realm
an
around
audience
this
watching.
connection, because there are
Talk to
forces
one
at
or
work
two
here
trusted
that go
people
beyond
if you
just
need
human
perspective.
emotion. But
Stay
guard the
close.
intimate details
This is
of
going
your
to
unfolding
illuminate
connection.
everything.
Don't
This
let
is where
other
we
people's
talk about what's
projections,
being clear,
fears,
what's
or
being
excitement
aligned,
shape
and
something
what's
that's
being
yours
prepared
and there's
for
what
alone.
comes next. There will be time
So
to
now
share
that you
your joy
understand
with
what's
others
happening,
once the relationship
that someone
has
fell
its
in
own
love with you
solid
at first
foundation.
sight and is finally ready
If
to
this
show
guidance
you,
is
the
resonating
question
with you,
becomes,
leave a
what do you
comment
do with
sharing
this
one word
information?
that describes what you're taking
How do you
away from
navigate
this
what's
message.
unfolding?
8.
How do you
Trust
prepare
divine
your
heart
timing,
for what's
even
coming.
when it's different than your timing?
Let me give you some practical
Maybe
wisdom
you
that
wish
will help
they'd
you
been
ready
moved
to
through
show
this
their
season with
feelings grace
months
and
ago.
clarity. Maybe you're
First,
frustrated that
pay
it's
attention
taken
to
this
how
long.
they're showing you, not
Maybe
just what
you're
they're
worried
showing
that
you.
timing is off in other
When
areas.
someone who has been
Work,
hiding their
location,
feelings finally
life
starts to reveal
circumstances,
them,
the manner in which
those
they do it
concerns
tells
are
you
real,
everything
but
about
they're
who
not
they
necessarily roadblocks.
Are they respectful of your space
What if the
and
timing
pace?
is actually perfect,
Are they
even
patient
though your
with your
mind
need to
can't see it
process?
yet?
Are they
What if they
listening to
needed
you
this
as much as
exact
they're
amount of
expressing
time to
themselves?
become the person who could love you the
Are
way
they
you
considering
deserve?
your feelings alongside
What
their
if you
own?
needed this time to heal from
Someone
past
who
hurts,
truly loves
to
you
grow
won't
into your
steamroll
own
you with the
readiness,
intensity
to
of
reach
their
a place where you
emotions.
could actually receive what's
They
being
won't pressure
offered?
you to reciprocate before you're
Sometimes
ready.
what looks like delay is
They won't
actually
make their
divine
vulnerability
preparation.
your responsibility.
What looks like bad
They'll
timing
create
is
space
actually
for you to
protection.
have your own experience.
What looks
your
like a
own
missed
timeline,
opportunity
your
is
own
actually
truth.
perfect orchestration.
Watch how they handle your
Stay
responses.
open to the possibility that
If
something
you need
larger
time,
than your
do they give it
understanding is
graciously?
guiding this.
If you have
9.
questions,
Don't let
do they
past
answer
pain
honestly?
dictate your present choices.
If you're scared,
Do
if
they
you've been
offer
hurt
reassurance
before,
without
and
most
making
of us
promises
have,
they can't
there's a
keep.
part of you that wants to
The way
protect yourself
someone
by
loves you when they're
assuming the
revealing
worst.
themselves is often the
By
way they'll
expecting
love
this
you
person
throughout
to
the
disappoint
relationship.
you the way others have.
Second, get
By
honest with
keeping
yourself
yourself
about what you
emotionally
actually
distant
feel.
just in case.
This isn't the
But
time
this
for
person
people
isn't
pleasing
your
or
ex.
trying to figure out the right
They aren't
response.
the person who betrayed you,
This is the
abandoned you,
time for
or
brutal
failed to
honesty
see
with
your
yourself.
worth.
There's
Do you have
someone
feelings
new,
for this
offering
person?
you something different.
Or do you just like the
They
idea
deserve
of
the
being
chance
loved
to
by
show
them?
you who they are without
Are
being
you
punished for
attracted to
what
who
someone
they
else
actually
did,
are,
or just to the
That doesn't
validation
mean
of being
being
chosen?
naive.
Sit
It
with
doesn't mean
yourself
ignoring
quietly.
red flags if they appear.
Journal. It means
Pray.
giving this person, and
Meditate.
yourself, the opportunity
Talk
to
to a
write
trusted
a new story.
friend
who knows you well. One that isn't defined
Explore
by your
what's
past,
true for
but
you
by the
beneath the
choices you make
excitement
together
or fear
moving
of the
forward.
moment.
10.
Because if you don't
Remember
get
that
clear
how
on
you
your own
receive love
feelings,
matters
you
as
risk
much as how
leading
you
both
give
of
it.
you down a path that isn't
Many
authentic.
of us are better at loving others
It's
than we
okay
are
if
at
you
letting
don't feel the
ourselves
same
be loved.
intensity they feel.
We're comfortable
It's
being the
okay if
supporter,
you need time
the
to catch up emotionally.
The giver.
It's
But
okay
when someone
if you're
wants to
interested
pour
but
into us,
uncertain, care for us,
what's not okay
prioritize
is
us,
pretending to
we
feel
get
something you
uncomfortable,
don't,
or ignoring
we
what you do
deflect.
feel because it complicates
We
things.
minimize.
Type
We
honesty
create distance.
if you're committing to being truthful
If someone
with
is
yourself
finally
about your
ready to
feelings.
show you the love they've been holding,
Third, practice
communicate
receiving
clearly
it.
and kindly,
Let
whatever
them
your
care
truth
about
is.
you. Let
If
them
you
share
do
their
kind
feelings
things
for you.
if you've been hoping they'd
Let them
finally say
prioritize
something,
your happiness.
tell them.
Let them
Don't be
play it
vulnerable
cool
with you.
Don't make
Let
them
them
guess.
love you out loud instead
Don't
of
punish
in
them
secret.
for taking so long by
Receiving
withholding
love
your own
graciously
vulnerability.
is an art.
If you're
It
excited
requires
about
softness,
exploring this
openness,
connection,
and
say
a willingness
so.
to believe you're worthy
If
of
you've
what's
been
being
falling
offered,
for them too,
let them know.
You are worthy.
Give them the gift
Even
of your
on your
honest
worst
yes.
days. If you're
Even
not
with
sure,
all your flaws
if you
and
need time to
fears and
figure out your
unfinished
feelings,
business,
tell them that too.
You are worthy of being
I
loved
care about
fully,
you, and I need some time
if
to
previous
process
super
what you've
thanks
shared.
gifts have supported this work.
Can we take this
I'm grateful.
slowly while I get clear on what I'm
If
feeling?
you're feeling moved by what's being
That's a
shared
fair
here
and
and want to
respectful
help
response.
me continue creating content that
Anyone
speaks
worth
to these
being
deep
with will honor
places,
that.
your contribution
And
means
if you
the
don't
world.
share their feelings,
But whether
if
you
care
give or
about
not,
them but not
you're
in that
valued
way,
here.
you need to tell them
What I
gently
want you
but
to
clearly.
take away from this section is
I'm
that you
honored
have
that you
agency
feel
in
this
what
way,
happens next.
and I value you deeply,
This
but I
isn't
don't
just
have
romantic
romantic
feelings for
you're
you.
an active participant
I'm
in the
sorry.
unfolding.
Don't
The
leave
choices
room for
you make,
misinterpretation
the way you
because
show
you're trying
up,
to soften
the
the
honesty
blow.
you bring, the courage
Clarity
you
is the
offer,
kindest
all
thing
of it
you can
matters.
offer someone who's been vulnerable
All
with
of it
you.
shapes what's possible.
Fourth, honor the
Now let's
sacredness
bring
of
this
the
home.
moment, regardless of the
Let's
outcome.
talk about what this moment means
When
in the
someone
larger
tells you
story
they
of
love
your
you,
life,
especially
and what I see
someone
coming
who
for
has
those
loved
of
you
you who are
quietly
brave
for a
enough
long
to say
time,
yes to what's
it's a holy
unfolding.
moment. Here's
Even
what I
if you
know
can't
to be true as
reciprocate
we
their
close out
feelings,
this time
you can
together.
honor their courage.
You are standing at a threshold.
You can thank them for their honesty.
On one side is the familiar,
You can acknowledge
the way
that what
things
they've
have
shared
been,
matters,
the comfortable
even if it
distance
doesn't
you've
change
maintained,
things
the
between you
safety
the way
of
they
not risking
hoped.
your heart.
Don't minimize
On the
their
other side
feelings.
is the unknown, a
Don't
connection
laugh
that could
nervously
transform
or make
everything,
jokes to ease your
vulnerability
discomfort.
that feels both terrifying
Don't
and
immediately
exhilarating,
turn the
a love
conversation
that's
to
been
something
waiting for its
else.
moment to fully emerge.
Sit with them in the vulnerability of the
Thresholds
moment.
are sacred spaces.
Let them know their heart
They're
is
not
safe
meant
with
to be
you,
rushed through.
even if you can't give them what
They're
they
meant
want.
to be honored, acknowledged.
And if you do
stood
share
in
their
for a
feelings,
moment while you
honor
gather
the
your
moment
courage
by
and
being
your
fully
clarity.
present.
You're allowed
Put
to
your
feel
phone
everything
away.
you're feeling right now.
Look them in the
excitement,
eyes.
fear,
Let
hope,
yourself feel the
uncertainty,
full weight of
all
what's
it at
happening.
once. This
You're
is a
allowed to
threshold
take a
you're
breath
crossing
before
together.
you step forward.
These are the moments you'll remember for the rest of your life. Don't rush through them. But what I want you to understand is this: the person who fell in love with you at first sight and is now ready to show it, they've already chosen. They've already decided that the risk of losing you to silence is greater than the risk of losing you to honesty. They've already moved through their fear and come out the other side willing to be vulnerable. They've already done the hard internal work of becoming ready. Now it's your turn. Not to match their certainty, certainty isn't required. Not to have all your feelings sorted, feelings are messy and complex and allowed to be. Your turn simply means, are you willing to explore this? Are you willing to see where it goes? Are you willing to give this connection the chance to show you what it could become? For those of you whose answer is yes, even a tentative, scared, I think so, yes, I want to speak blessing over what's ahead. You're not just beginning a relationship. You're beginning a journey of being seen and chosen by someone who never needed you to perform, impress, or prove your worth. You're beginning the experience of being loved for your essence, your truth, your authentic self. There will be challenges. Every real relationship has them. There will be moments where you misunderstand each other, where you have to choose love when feelings are hard, where you have to grow in ways that stretch you. But you'll be navigating those challenges with someone who has already demonstrated their capacity for patience, for loyalty, for loving you even when it cost them something. The foundation you're building on is rare. Most relationships start with attraction and hope and the question of, will this turn into something real? But you're starting with someone who already knows it's real for them. Someone who has already weathered the test of time and distance and uncertainty. Someone who is showing up not because they're caught up in new relationship energy, but because they've been carrying this love deliberately and are choosing it consciously. That's the kind of foundation that can hold the weight of a lifetime. That's the kind of beginning that doesn't fade when the novelty wears off, because it was never about novelty. It was about recognition. It was about rightness. It was about something deeper than circumstances or timing or convenience. I see beautiful things ahead for those of you who choose to step through this threshold. I see laughter that comes from genuine understanding. I see conversations that go until the early hours of morning because you can't stop sharing yourselves with each other. I see small moments of tenderness that become the building blocks of intimacy, the way they brush your hair from your face, the way you reach for their hand without thinking, the way you create your own private language of inside jokes and meaningful looks. I see you learning what it feels like to be someone's first thought in the morning and last thought before sleep. I see you experiencing what it's like when someone's face lights up just because you walked into a room. I see you understanding what it means to be prioritized, protected, cherished, not in a possessive way, but in a way that makes you feel free to be more fully yourself. And I see growth.
I see you both becoming better versions of yourselves because of what you inspire in each other. I see wounds healing because someone is finally loving you the way you needed to be loved all along. I see walls coming down. I see trust being rebuilt. I see hope being restored. For those of you whose answer is no, those who realize you don't share their feelings and can't reciprocate what they're offering, I want to speak to you too. Your truth is valid. You're not required to return someone's feelings just because they're brave enough to express them. Love can't be forced or manufactured or guilt-tripped into existence. What I encourage you to do is honor their courage even as you honor your own truth. Be clear. Be kind. Be direct. Don't leave them hanging in uncertainty because you're afraid of hurting them. The kindest thing you can do for someone who loves you is tell them the truth, even when that truth is painful to speak and to hear. And know that saying no to this doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you failed them or missed some cosmic opportunity. It simply means this wasn't your connection to accept. Your heart knows what it knows. Trust that. There's a different path ahead for you, one that's aligned with what you actually want and need, not what you think you should want. For those of you who are somewhere in between, uncertain, interested but not sure, needing more time, give yourself permission to move at your own pace. Tell them you need time. Tell them you're interested in exploring but can't make promises yet. Tell them you want to take things slowly and see how you feel as you go. Anyone who truly loves you will meet you where you are. They'll give you the space to discover your own feelings without pressure. They'll understand that love can't be rushed or forced, even when they desperately want you to feel what they feel. And if they can't give you that space, if they pressure you or make ultimatums or try to guilt you into reciprocating, that tells you something important about whether this connection is actually healthy. If you're walking away from this video with more clarity about what you're feeling and what you want, type "clarity" in the comments. Let's create a wave of people who are choosing to be honest with themselves. Whatever your answer is, whatever your truth is, whatever your next step is, I'm proud of you for being here, for paying attention, for taking this seriously. This matters. Your love life matters. Your heart matters. The connections you make or don't make, the choices you make or don't make, the risks you take or don't take, all of it matters. You're not passive in your own story. You're not just waiting for life to happen to you. You're actively participating, actively choosing, actively creating. And that's powerful. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Before we close, I want to leave you with this: the fact that someone fell in love with you at first sight says something about you. It says that you carry something remarkable. It says that your energy, your essence, your presence has impact. It says that who you are, not what you do, not what you achieve, but who you fundamentally are, is enough to inspire love in its purest form. That's true whether you end up with this person or not. That's true whether this connection becomes a relationship or remains a beautiful moment in time. That's true whether you say yes or no or, "I need to think about it." You are someone worth falling in love with. You are someone worth showing up for. You are someone worth the risk. Carry that knowledge with you. Let it settle into your bones. Let it change how you see yourself. Because when you know your worth, really know it, you make different choices. You accept different treatment. You create different standards. You attract different energy. This moment with this person who's ready to finally show you how they feel, it's part of your awakening to your own value. It's part of your journey into understanding that you don't have to earn love, or perform for love, or twist yourself into shapes to deserve love. You're already worthy, exactly as you are. And what I want you to understand is this: becomes your forever story, who fell in love with you at first sight and is now ready to show it. Either way, they've already chosen. You're exactly where you're meant to be. They've already decided that the risk of losing you to silence is greater than the risk of losing you to honesty. You're being prepared for everything that's coming. They've already moved through the fear and come out the other side willing to be vulnerable. Trust your heart. They've already done the hard internal work of becoming divine intelligence that brought this person into your life at that first moment, not to match that made them fall in love with you before they even knew your story. That
not to
same
have all your
intelligence
feelings
is
sorted.
orchestrating what
Feelings
comes
are
next.
messy and complex and allowed
You're not
to be.
alone in this.
Your turn
You're
simply
not
means,
wandering in the dark.
are you willing to explore this?
You're being led by something
Are you
bigger
willing
than
to
your
see where it
understanding,
goes?
something wiser
Are
than
you
your
willing
fear,
to give this
something
connection
more
the chance
loving
to
than
show
your
you
doubt?
what it could become?
And it's all
For those
unfolding
of you whose
exactly as
answer
it
is
should.
yes, even a tentative,
So take a deep
scared,
breath.
I think so, yes,
Feel your
I want to
feelings.
speak blessing over what's
Make
ahead.
your choices from a place of
You're not
honesty
just
and
beginning a
courage.
relationship.
And know that
You're
whatever
beginning a
happens
journey
next,
of being
you're
seen
going to
and
be
chosen
okay.
by someone who never needed
More
you
than
to
okay.
perform, impress,
You're
or
going to
prove
be
your
exactly
worth.
where you need to be.
You're beginning
learning
the
exactly
experience
what you
of
need
being
to
loved
learn,
for your
becoming
essence,
exactly
your
who
truth,
you're meant to
your
become.
authentic self.
If this message
There
has
will be
touched your
challenges.
heart, if it's given you comfort,
Every real
clarity,
relationship has
confirmation,
or courage,
there will be moments
and you
where
feel
you
called to
misunderstand
support
each
this
other,
ministry
where you
through a
have to
super
choose
thanks.
love when
I
feelings
receive
are
that
hard,
gift with
where
deep
you have to
gratitude.
grow in ways that stretch
Your
you.
support allows me to
But you'll be
continue
navigating
creating
those
deep,
challenges with
meaningful
someone who has already
explorations of
demonstrated
love,
their capacity for
relationships,
patience,
and spiritual
for
loyalty,
growth.
for loving you
But
even
whether
when it
you
costs
give or
them
not,
something.
you are so valued.
The foundation you're building
You
on is
matter.
rare. Your journey
Most
matters.
relationships start with attraction
Your
and
heart
hope
matters.
and the question of, will this
Thank
turn
you
into
for being
something
here.
real?
Thank
But
you
you're
for
starting
trusting
with
me
someone
with
who
this
already
time,
knows it's
this
real
space,
for them.
this part of your story.
Someone who has already weathered
Thank you
the
for
test
being
of
brave
time and
enough to
distance
explore
and
what's
uncertainty.
happening in your love life with
Someone
honesty
who is
and
showing
openness.
up not because they're caught up in
I'm
new
believing with you
relationship
for
energy,
beautiful
but because they've
unfoldings.
been carrying this love
I'm
deliberately
holding
and
space
are
for
choosing
whatever
it
your truth
consciously.
is. That's the
I'm
kind of
celebrating the
foundation
courage
that
it
can
takes
hold
to
the weight
stand
of a
at a
lifetime.
threshold and actually choose.
That's the kind
to
of
say
beginning
yes,
that doesn't
or
fade
no,
when the
or
novelty
let's
wears
see,
off,
but to
because
choose
it was never
consciously
about
rather
novelty.
than letting fear or passivity
It
make
was
the
about
choice for you.
recognition.
Drop
It was
one
about
final word
whiteness.
below, whatever word
It was
is in
about
your heart
something
right
deeper
now
than
after everything we've
circumstances or
explored
timing
together.
or convenience.
Let's fill the
I
comments
see
with the
beautiful
energy
things
of people
ahead
who
for
are
those of
awake
you
to
who
what's
choose to
happening in their
step
love
through this
lives
threshold.
and ready to respond with wisdom.
I see laughter that comes from
This is your
genuine
moment.
understanding.
This is
I
your
see
story.
conversations that go until
This
the
is your
early
chance to
hours of
receive
morning
what's been
because
waiting
you can't
for you,
stop sharing
or to honor
yourselves
your
with each
truth
other.
if this isn't your path,
I see
or to
small
explore
moments
what's
of tenderness
possible
that
if you're
become the
somewhere in
building
between.
blocks of intimacy.
Whatever
the way
you
they
choose,
brush your hair
choose
from your
it fully.
face, the way you reach
Choose
for
it
their hand without
consciously.
thinking, the way you
Choose
create
it from
your
a
own
place of
private
self-love
language of
and
inside
self-respect
jokes
and
trust in the
meaningful looks.
larger unfolding of your life.
I see you learning what it feels
You've
like
got
to be
this.
someone's first thought in the morning
And you're
last
so,
thought
so
before sleep.
loved by the divine.
I see
by
you
the
experiencing
universe,
what
by
it's
the
like
people
when
who
someone
see
speaks
you
for who
lights
you
up just
really
because
are,
you walked
and
into
by
a
me,
room.
the person behind the
I see
screen
you
who is
understanding
honored
what
to
it
speak
means
into
to be
your
prioritized, protected,
Until next
cherished,
time,
not
beloved
in a
soul.
possessive way, but in a
May
way
you
that
walk
makes
in
you feel
clarity,
free to be more
courage,
fully yourself.
and the confidence that comes from
And
knowing
I
your
see
worth.
growth.
May you
I see you
receive
love
love becoming
graciously
better
and
versions
give
of
love
yourselves
freely.
because of what you inspire
May you
in each
trust
other.
the timing of your life.
I see wounds healing
And may
because someone
everything
is
that's
finally
meant for you
loving
find
you
you
the way
exactly
you needed
when
to
you're
be
ready
loved
to
all
receive
along.
it.
Blessings
I see
on your
walls
journey.
coming down.
Blessings on
I
your
see
heart.
trust being rebuilt.
Blessings on this beautiful,
I see hope being
sacred,
restored.
transformative moment you're
For those
living
of you
through
whose
right now.
answer is no, those
You
who
are
realize
seen.
you don't share their feelings
You are
and
valued.
can't reciprocate what they're offering,
You are
I
exactly
want to
where
speak
you
to
need to
too.
be.
Your truth is valid. You're not required to return someone's feelings just because they're brave enough to express them. Love can't be forced or manufactured or guilt-tripped into existence. What I encourage you to do is honor their courage even as you honor your own truth. Be clear. Be kind. Be direct. Don't leave them hanging in uncertainty because you're afraid of hurting them. The kindest thing you can do for someone who loves you is tell them the truth, even when that truth is painful to speak and to hear. And know that saying no to this doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you failed them or missed some cosmic opportunity. It simply means this wasn't your connection to accept. Your heart knows what it knows. Trust that. There's a different path ahead for you, one that's aligned with what you actually want and need, not what you think you should want. For those of you who are somewhere in between, uncertain, interested but not sure, needing more time, give yourself permission to move at your own pace. Tell them you need time. Tell them you're interested in exploring but can't make promises yet. Tell them you want to take things slowly and see how you feel as you go. Anyone who truly loves you will meet you where you are. They'll give you the space to discover your own feelings without pressure. They'll understand that love can't be rushed or forced, even when they desperately want you to feel what they feel. And if they can't give you that space, if they pressure you or make ultimatums or try to guilt you into reciprocating, that tells you something important about whether this connection is actually healthy. If you're walking away from this video with more clarity about what you're feeling and what you want, type clarity in the comments.
Let's create a wave of people who are choosing to be honest with themselves. Whatever your answer is, whatever your truth is, whatever your next step is, I'm proud of you for being here, for paying attention, for taking this seriously. This matters. Your love life matters. Your heart matters. The connections you make or don't make, the choices you make or don't make, the risks you take or don't take, all of it matters. You're not passive in your own story. You're not just waiting for life to happen to you. You're actively participating, actively choosing, actively creating. And that's powerful. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Before we close, I want to leave you with this: the fact that someone fell in love with you at first sight says something about you. It says that you carry something remarkable. It says that your energy, your essence, your presence has impact. It says that who you are, not what you do, not what you achieve, but who you fundamentally are, is enough to inspire love in its purest form. That's true whether you end up with this person or not. That's true whether this connection becomes a relationship or remains a beautiful moment in time. That's true whether you say yes or no or, I need to think about it. You are someone worth falling in love with. You are someone worth showing up for. You are someone worth the risk. Carry that knowledge with you. Let it settle into your bones. Let it change how you see yourself. Because when you know your worth, really know it, you make different choices. You accept different treatment. You create different standards. You attract different energy. This moment with this person who's ready to finally show you how they feel, it's part of your awakening to your own value. It's part of your journey into understanding that you don't have to earn love, or perform for love, or twist yourself into shapes to deserve love. You're already worthy, exactly as you are.